Welcome to From the Fishbowl, a podcast brought to you from the land of the Darrell peoples, a place where you, the listener, gets unprecedented access and tales shared by Judy Hannon MP, the independent member for Wollondilly, her staff, locals and the experts in their field. I'm Ben Banasic, Chief Advisor to Judy, and in this episode, Judy.
I'm here today, which is really, really good to be with these gentlemen.
So, yep, and we've got Chris and Sean from Walk It Off in Warragamba. Welcome, guys.
Great to be here. Thanks.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, we're really, really, really keen to hear the story about each of you as individuals to start off with. I guess that's the important thing.
Yep.
What makes us who we are.
Yep.
Chris, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. So my name's Chris. I joined Walk It Off back in August last year, and from that, my experience with it and seeing how it's benefited me, I've decided to talk to the guys and getting it launched in Warragamba. It's been going for 7 weeks now. It's got a regular membership of about 10 at the moment, but early days. So we're not worried about the low numbers. We're happy with the numbers. And the conversations that we're having. And
So a little bit more, Chris, about what brings you to Walk It Off in the first instance.
So in the first instance, in 2021, I lost my son to suicide. So last year I was in a space where I wasn't really functioning. So through my therapist and my wife, they found this group, and I had it on hold for a while, probably about 3-4 weeks, but they were urging me to go along. And so when I eventually went along, it was to Walk It Off in Springwood, and that's where I met Sean and a couple of the members there, and just from there just progressed forward, and here we are now.
So what about you, Sean? How did you get into Walk It Off?
I got introduced to Walk It Off by the two co-chairs, two of my friends, and they said that they'd started this men's group up in Springwood, and decided to take the chance and go and see what it was about. And I guess the background for my story, mine is multifaceted. So when I was 30, I went through a stage of depression, anxiety, and I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. But that was brought upon me by when I was 19. I had to turn the machines off on a newborn son who was a week old. That sent me on a nice little spiral down that staircase for a lot of years. And so, when I was 30, I attempted suicide. Didn't get that done, luckily enough. But what that started was my journey of understanding the mind, healing, and all this kind of thing, just trying to deal with the traumas that I'd experienced through life. And once I became, aware of Walk It Off, we didn't have that when I was going through my stuff. This is 13 odd years ago. And so when I found Walk It Off and started to create different bonds and friendships with some of the guys up there, that started a deeper sort of desire to want to give back. And because I had a certain understanding about stuff that's going on, especially when you get into the mental health space. I've been there, and like Chris, we've sort of experienced some doozies, and so it's just like to be able to hold space and be a shoulder and an ear for another guy or another person who's going through that kind of stuff. That's why I do it, and so
And I think everybody, no matter who we are, have mental health issues along the way, and we've all been down some funny pathways. But there's 2 questions I have for both of you, and you might both want to answer or one at a time. Yep. Is A, why the walking? What does walking do that's different? And then B, why as men it's important that men do this? So they're the 2 questions that I'm really interested in hearing.
So Sean's thumbed it to me, so
that's a good way to be. Yeah.
So I'll go with the why men topic first. I think it's particularly from my own experience and talking with others, and not just through Walk It Off, but through my life, blokes get the message a lot about, toughen up, keep quiet, don't be a wimp about things.
Build a bridge and just get over it.
Build a bridge, yeah. So that's a unfortunate common message that blokes hear. So that's why it's good to be out there supporting blokes, to let them know that it's okay to speak. Like the catchphrase that goes around. It's not weak to speak. It's okay to share, even if it's a small thing. It's okay to share that small thing. That's a burden to you.
Yeah, I think coming out of COVID, isolation for men in particular, from our perspectives anyway, that was really challenging for a lot of people, and not having, when we're looking at all of the stigmas and narratives that are around men and their space, support's not one that's generally given, right? And so it's like when you're in that space and you're isolated, you're already feeling alone. Well, where do you go to for help? On one hand, you're told not to ask for it, and that's generally the rule of thumb, at least for our age bracket. That's very normal. Like, you don't get told, you just man up and do it yourself, right? Having a space where you can sort of be vulnerable and start to share. And I know that vulnerability for most guys, that's not a common phrase that gets thrown around. But when you're at your wit's end, or you've just been going through some stuff for a significant portion of time, mate, you need help, and it's okay to get it. And when you don't know where to find it, like I was saying before, 13 years ago when I was going through my stuff, I didn't know where to go.
To look, yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think that the, one of two things, is it walking that it's kind of an excuse that you're not actually doing something that's, excuse me, that walking is, I can turn up to walk, but I'm not really doing anything. I'm not out there sharing or being vulnerable. Yeah. Or do you think it's the exercise, or do you think it's both things?
I think it's giving people a space. Like, we throw it around all the time when people come up. Like, you don't have to talk. You don't have to, have particularly any mental health issues. If you just need a space just to be you for an hour and a half, that's it. That's all it is, really. So you be you in that space, and if that's just walking in silence, then that's okay. But we will encourage talking. We're not. We will notice that, and we'll go, "What's your story? Why the quietness?"
Yeah, and
if they go, "Well, we don't want to talk about it just now. I just need that space," then that's okay.
Yeah, it's just presenting the opportunity for connection. Right? You don't have to take it, but over a period of time, it's kind of why when we've got, we'll have a cup of coffee or a beverage before we go for a walk. We've structured it so that there's a little bit of a snack or a meal afterwards, right? And it's just creating these opportunities for connection with guys sitting. So then the normal way that therapy, when you're going out and getting help, it's sitting opposite each other and we're talking face to face, and all this is fine, right? For most guys, they don't like doing that. It's quite intimidating, especially when they've got to be vulnerable or share something that's kind of traumatic or whatever it is, an experience of some sort. That's not very, very comfortable. So when you're walking, it takes your mind off the actual vulnerability side of things. There's nobody in front of you. You're just going for a walk. So that you can drop those barriers down, and your personal boundaries. Also, when we're walking side by side, that's from a male perspective is really, really strong. It's just like, all right, it's almost like a brothers in arms type arrangement. Not not so much, but it's
It gives you
like
that strength.
Yes, and you can walk side by side, and it feels like he's got my back and I've got his, and that's where it's just like that camaraderie and brotherhood. That's where it starts to shift. It doesn't take long for that to really start to make an impact on guys, and so that's why we've structured it with the walk. I mean, it's kind of 2 birds or 3 birds with 1 stone. So we're looking after connection and being able to be social. We're looking after mental health, where you get to share. And then also we get a little bit of fitness in there. Most people don't take any time for themselves, let alone,
I mean, I was talking to Ben earlier before we started that when I joined in August, that was the most exercise I'd done in months. And so for the initial walk, it was only around Springwood, same Warragamba. It's about 3.5k, about 40 minutes. No great pace in it at all, but I was exhausted. I was puffed because I hadn't looked after myself and my general well-being. So noticing those factors, I was like, I need to do something else. It's not just my mental health here that's at risk, it's my overall well-being. And it's just that simple 40-minute walk that could trigger off,
Looking after yourself a bit more.
Looking after yourself. Like I got one of the members at Warragamba, he's regularly going out for walks now during the week because
You know how good it feels.
he knows how good it feels, and there is that endorphin reward in it. But yeah, he'll reach out, go, "You want to go for a walk tonight?" Oh, yeah, cool, let's go. And we'll do the same lap as what we do with the walk it off. We might stretch it out a little bit more. But yeah.
So what sort of ages do you have of the men that walk?
Our age bracket is varied. So we'll have children there. They'll come with their dads. And so that's like 9, 10 years old, all the way up. And we've got, teenagers, a couple of teenagers, 8, 9. But it goes up. We've got guys in their 70s who are regularly walking with us. Yeah. So it's very broad. And
you both started in Springwood because that was the founders started up there. How many other places are there? I know you've shifted to Warragamba, and I'll ask you about that specifically. But how many other places at Walk It Off?
We've got another group up in Terrigal as well. So
Terrigal.
We've got Blue Mountains, Central Coast, and now we've got Warragamba.
Very lucky. So Warragamba, you brought it specifically down to Warragamba,
Yeah,
Chris?
I brought it down to Warragamba after experiencing what it was like for me up in Springwood. And from the initial day, it was kind of interesting. I heard about the launch in Terrigal, and there was this idea that we launched it at the end of October in Terrigal, early November. I joined in the August, but in that time there was this idea of walking to Terrigal as part of the launch to raise awareness for Walk It Off, but raise awareness for mental health and as well, and men's mental health. So I thought in my unfit state that was going to be a great idea. And I took it home to the wife, and I thought she'd say no because that's what usually she does when I come home with a crazy idea. But she said, no, go for it, do it. And so I was like, well, now I have to do it. But through that, because it wasn't just the Wednesday walks we did, we met probably 2-3 times a week, walking anywhere from 10 to 20k walks to get trained up for that. But it was that really kind of pushed me, and I was able to see when I was walking around Warragamba by myself in Silverdale the potential for how it could impact positively up here in Warragamba. So that's why I talked to the guys and said, listen, I know Terrigal's launching, but in the new year I want to do this. I want to...
And let's face it, Warragamba's a beautiful place to walk around anyway. So
there's been a lot of comments on that for people that have come up to Warragamba to walk around. Guys from Springwood have come down to visit to see how it's going, and members from another group in Penrith, the Men's Walk and Talk, they come up and they go, "This is a really nice area," and it is. So
it's our secret, that one.
Yeah, it is.
We're trying to expose that secret.
So what about cost? Is there cost involved for people? So there's no cost. Do they have to have any sort of equipment or special equipment or anything?
No, we've got some lunatics that walk in Crocs, but that's about it.
So
don't need anything, just
Roll
your
on
time.
up.
Yeah.
Roll on up. And Warragamba, so what's the days and the times that you're doing at Warragamba?
So Warragamba is the same with Springwood and Terrigal, always on Wednesday, always at 5:30 for a bit of a cuppa and a chat. And then at 6 o'clock we'll go for a walk. It's that 3.5 Ks, about 40 minutes. So we'll meet at the Warragamba Bakery Cafe. We're very lucky to have Danny Vu, who's the manager there, come on board and support us, and he's just loving it. He loves just to assist the community and see the benefit of having a space like this. So
I'd almost walk just to get his Vietnamese roll.
Yeah,
Because there's something else.
his pork rolls are
Pork
phenomenal.
roll, yeah.
St. George Val. The list goes on.
So that's another fellow, but helping other fellows along by Danny providing that space for you to meet at and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So if you send a message out to other fellows, either having an issue or not having an issue at the moment, W's for Wednesday and for walk, what would the message be to them? Why would you suggest they come along? Or
I guess it's our catchphrase, change starts with a conversation. Reach out. We're on Facebook, so Walk It Off Facebook / Walk It Off Australia, and then there's walkitoff.org.au. So reach out and they can communicate to us through that way. And wherever they're at, we can help them out with get into a group, as long as they're not too far away, because we've had people reach out from Bendigo and Victoria and Adelaide as well.
but
It's a
those
long way
people
to
could
walk.
come and it is a long way to walk.
It's a long way to walk.
But those people could actually come and spend a night here and experience what it's like, and then that might actually grow out into their areas, like you did from Springwood to Warragamba.
Yeah, and we're absolutely on board with that, with supporting others that want to grow Walk It Off.
Yeah, so what we've found with the support groups, the smaller ones, it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of commitment and dedication that's required to organise and facilitate the walks every week, and having that consistency, because that's what we pride ourselves on. Rain, hail, or shine, we're walking. Unless it's lightning, we'll just wait it out.
Insurance doesn't cover lightning.
Yeah. That's the only catch, but we'll still get together. And it's in that consistency that provides the guys with the safety to go, all right.
Yeah, because I guess it'd be
Just
nothing
know.
worse if somebody was ready to talk and turned up and nobody was
No one's
there.
there.
That would be just devastating, wouldn't it?
Would be. And so that's what we pride ourselves on every week. Somebody's there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And normally that somebody is a lot of somebodies, so it's quite good. Right?
Yep. So any sort of, final words about what you would say to men, Sian, to, give it a try. You don't have to have an issue. You can just come. What would you say?
What would I say? It's an interesting question, because most guys won't ask for help, right? And what I would pose to them is, we're not helping you. You're just helping yourself, right? Just come down and
Or you
chat.
might help somebody else too
Yeah.
by being there.
Could be. You could. And, validating other people's experiences is very, very powerful for yourself. Being able to sit there and listen, and, you don't even have to say anything. But it is a very, very powerful way to connect. You can, some of my best friends are in the groups all over. And so it's like, change starts with a conversation. If you're going through something that you're not really feeling like it's helping or working or whatever, come and have a chat. We're not coming at it from a doctor's perspective. There's no sort of whatever. We'll share or we won't share.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Come and have a walk.
Yeah, just come for a walk.
And what about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Like, we're not there to press you into a conversation. Like, tell us your woes. We're not going to hound you on those. Why you're here? If you're there, you're there. Cool. But if you need the help, we're there to listen. But also, we've got the supports and resources to get more assistance beyond our scope.
Yeah.
So I know that you talked about, you were told as a man you have to build a bridge and get over it. This is about a whole group of people working together to build a really strong bridge,
Yes.
and helping each other over that bridge. I guess that's the biggest difference. Ben, have you got anything to add to that?
No.
Questions?
It's wonderful to see you guys volunteer and I guess take that next step, which is great to see. And thank you for sharing particularly the personal details. I should say, if you are listening from home and this has triggered anything, Lifeline's available right now for you to speak to on 131114. Otherwise, we'll put all the links to Walk It Off in the show notes. But Wednesdays, 5:30, Warragamba, easy to remember.
And I have to tell you, I'm really, really proud of you guys, what you do. Not only helping yourselves, but helping other people. Full credit to you.
Thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
really grateful for your support too, Judy. So,
It's been an amazing response from the community of Wollondilly from launching this and talking with Bev Spearpoint to begin with in January, and then it's just snowballed and reaching out to talk.
All those W's. Wednesday, walking, and Wollondilly.
That's it, Warragamba.
Pretty good.
So
And
Walk It Off
Warragamba.
Wednesday, people.
Yep.
Let's go.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great.